If my father could see me now, he'd probably choke on his imported espresso. The heiress of Ward Global, wearing a $10 thrift store blazer, clutching a broken tablet, and squeezing into an elevator that smells faintly like instant noodles and desperation. I glance at my reflection in the elevator doors. My hair's in a messy ponytail, authentically messy, not the influencer who spent 40 minutes making it look casual kind. My name tag reads Lena W. Because using my full name Lena Ward would have been like hanging a neon sign over my head. Rich girl, please exploit me. I'm here for one reason. To find out why the company my family invested in, Novatech, has been leaking money faster than a K-pop idol's dating scandal. My father thinks I'm on a sabbatical. I call it reconnaissance. The elevator dings open to the 9th floor. Novatech's open office. Exposed brick walls, motivational posters, and at least 3 beanbags. The startup aesthetic is so strong it hurts. New intern. A cheerful voice chirps. A girl with pink hair and way too much caffeine energy waves at me. I'm Mia. You're the one starting today, right? Welcome to the chaos. I smile politely. Thanks. Where should I? Desk by the window. Oh, and watch out for Mr. Vale. He's in a mood today. Mr. Vale. The name rings a bell. Then I see him. Black suit, undone tie, laptop under his arm, jawline sharp enough to slice through my last nerve. He's on a call, voice low and clipped. If the investors don't see the prototype by Friday, this company's dead. When he ends the call, his gaze sweeps the room and lands on me. New intern, he asks, tone cool, assessing. Yes, sir, I reply, forcing my best humble peasant smile. Good. We need all hands. You'll be helping me with the beta launch. Don't slow us down. Charming, I think. In the same way a thunderstorm is charming. Still, there's something magnetic about him. Confident, driven, probably thinks interns exist to fetch coffee and admiration. The type of man who'd crumble if he ever found out the broke intern, standing in front of him, actually owns 30% of his company. Got it, I say sweetly. I'll do my best, Mr. Vale. He nods once and walks away, leaving me in his wake, equal parts irritated and intrigued. Maybe this won't be so bad. Maybe I can stay invisible long enough to see who's been stealing from Novatech. But then my phone buzzes with a text from my cousin. Board meeting moved to next week. Dad suspects sabotage. Keep a low profile. I stare at the message. Keep a low profile. Sure. Easy. Until Mr. Vale leans over my desk 5 minutes later, eyes flashing. Who gave you access to the confidential files? Oh no. So much for invisible. If there's one thing I didn't plan for today, it was accidentally looking like a corporate spy before lunch. Mr. Vale's shadow falls over my desk like a thundercloud. His sleeves are rolled up, his tie's loosened, and there's this CO energy radiating off him that makes my brain short-circuit for half a second. Answer me, he says, voice low. Who gave you access to the restricted files? My cursor blinks mockingly on the screen. I only wanted to check the intern training folder, but apparently Novatech's file system is about as organized as a teenager's closet. One wrong click and boom, executive data heaven. I didn't mean to, I stammer, channeling my best naive intern who can barely use Excel performance. I was just trying to open the HR folder and the screen, did a thing. He narrows his eyes. A thing. Yes. Like, computer things. Mia snorts from the next desk, trying and failing to hide it behind her coffee cup. I shoot her a look that screams help me before I die of embarrassment. Mr. Vale crosses his arms. Do you realize those are confidential reports? Do you know how serious this could be? Do you know how confusing your folder names are? I blurt before my brain can stop my mouth. Who names a file project _dragon _final really final _v8? For a second there's silence. Then his lips twitch, just barely, but enough to tell me he's fighting a laugh. He sighs. You're lucky I'm in a decent mood today, intern. Don't let it happen again. Yes, sir, I say quickly, clutching my mouse like it's a lifeline. When he leaves, Mia leans over, whispering, Girl, what are you? Brave or stupid? Both, I mumble. Mostly stupid. But deep down I can't help smiling. For all his arrogance, Mr. Vale didn't actually fire me. Interesting. By noon I've made it my mission to blend in. Fetching coffee, typing reports, pretending not to understand half the tech jargon flying around. But then I hear it. Two senior managers whispering near the break room. Vale doesn't suspect a thing, one of them says. We'll shift the funds through the prototype budget. Easy money. Prototype budget? My pulse spikes. So it's true, someone is skimming from Novatech's accounts. I casually pour more coffee, acting like I'm just another caffeine-addicted intern. My phone's in my pocket, secretly recording. Then a smooth voice breaks through my concentration. Eavesdropping on company secrets, intern? Mr. Vale again. Of course. I turn, smiling innocently. Just refilling. This coffee machine's a little loud, don't you think? He studies me for a moment, unreadable. Then he steps closer, just enough that I can smell the faint mix of cedarwood and trouble. You're interesting, he says. Most interns avoid me like the plague. Maybe I have poor survival instincts. His smirk is unfairly distracting. Or maybe you're hiding something. If only you knew, I think. He walks off, leaving me both flustered and suspiciously warm-cheeked. As soon as he's gone, I pull out my phone, replaying the recording I just made. The audio's clear. The culprits' voices are crisp. Looks like my little undercover mission just got real. That night, as I lie on my tiny apartment bed, tiny because heiress playing poor means no penthouse privileges, I grin up at the cracked ceiling. Day 1. Survived near termination, recorded 2 fraudsters, mildly flirted with a rival CO. Not bad for an intern with holes in her shoes. Tomorrow though? Tomorrow I'm going to dig deeper. Into the files, the fraud, and maybe into why Mr. Vale's smirk is now permanently haunting my brain. If I were keeping score, I'd say day 2 of my undercover life started off pretty well. Didn't spill coffee on anyone important. Didn't get caught snooping. Didn't accidentally reveal that I own 30% of the company. Honestly, that's a win. I step into Novatech's office, a paper cup in each hand. My shoes squeak on the floor. Cheap, unbranded, perfect for intern cosplay. Across the room, Mr. Vale is hunched over his laptop, sleeves rolled up, frown locked in place. He looks unfairly good for someone who probably hasn't slept. There's something about the way he focuses, like the rest of the world just blurs. Focus, Lena. He's technically your employee. I approach his desk. Double espresso, extra shot. Thought you might need it. He glances up, surprised. You remembered. You ordered the same thing yesterday. I may be an intern, but I have excellent caffeine memory. A faint smile tugs at his lips. You're efficient. Dangerous combination. If only he knew how right he was. He takes the cup, our fingers brushing for a second, just long enough for my brain to throw fireworks. I clear my throat and turn toward my desk before my face turns into a stoplight. Half an hour later, I'm knee-deep in intern tasks, sorting spreadsheets, drafting emails, pretending I don't understand half the tech terms being thrown around. But while everyone else types away, I'm quietly building a side project of my own. A little data tracking script. Harmless enough to look like a learning exercise, but powerful enough to trace financial anomalies in Novatech's system. If I can find where the stolen money's going, I'll have proof before the next board meeting. I glance over my shoulder to make sure no one's watching. Working hard or hardly working? Mr. Vale again. He's holding his coffee, leaning casually against my desk, looking like every HR manual's worst nightmare. I'm optimizing data input. I keep my tone innocent. Optimizing, huh? He peers at my screen. Looks like code. I panic for half a second, then grin. Tutorial project. I'm trying to impress my scary boss. He huffs a quiet laugh. You think I'm scary? Only when you glower at interns for breaking the internet. That was one time. Aha. He leans closer, lowering his voice. Just don't do anything illegal, okay? I'd hate to have to fire my most interesting intern. And with that, he's gone again, leaving me with a fluttering stomach and a growing list of contradictions. Charming. Infuriating. Possibly dangerous to my concentration. By the end of the day, my script finishes running. A blinking notification pops up. Funds redirected to offshore account. Traced to Orion Consultancy. My pulse quickens. I know that name. Orion was one of our family's competitors. A company that once tried to buy out Novatech years ago. Someone inside is working with them. I copy the data onto a flash drive and shut down my computer. I need to get this to my father's legal team, quietly before anyone notices. But as I'm slipping the drive into my bag, a familiar voice cuts through the hum of the office. Leaving early? Mr. Vale stands by the exit, coat slung over his shoulder, eyes sharp despite his smile. Just heading home, I say, trying not to sound suspicious. He studies me for a beat too long, then nods slowly. Good. Don't overwork yourself, intern. I need you alive for tomorrow's presentation. I exhale the second he turns away. If he knew what was actually on this flash drive, he'd stop calling me intern and start calling me boss. But not yet. Tomorrow I'll dig deeper. Into Orion, into Novatech's missing funds. And, apparently, into whatever this dangerously flirty tension is turning into. Because one thing's clear. Pretending to be poor was supposed to protect me from fake people. No one warned me it might make me fall for one. By the time I reach my apartment, my brain is running on adrenaline and instant ramen fumes. The flash drive sits on my desk like a ticking bomb. One little piece of metal that could bring down half of Novatech's management, and expose me if I'm not careful. I plug it into my laptop, scanning the files again. Offshore transactions, dummy invoices, fake supplier names, everything pointing to Orion Consultancy. Whoever's behind this isn't just stealing pocket change. They're bleeding the company dry. And I'm going to stop them. I'm just finishing my notes when my phone lights up. Unknown number. You shouldn't be looking at those files, Miss Ward. My stomach drops. Miss Ward. Not Lena W. Not intern. Mississippi freaking. Ward. Before I can reply, another text appears. Meet me tomorrow. Rooftop 7 a.m. Come alone. Oh, perfect. A mystery threat before breakfast. Totally normal. The next morning. I show up at the building early, hair windblown, nerves jangling. The elevator doors open to the rooftop and, of course, he's there. Mr. Vale. Standing by the railing, hands in his pockets, city skyline glowing behind him like a movie poster. I cross my arms. If this is some kind of weird HR violation, I'm reporting you. He turns, smirking faintly. Relax, intern. I'm not here to fire you. Good, because I'm not getting paid enough to be fired dramatically. He chuckles, then his expression shifts, serious now. You've been digging into company finances. My heart skips. What makes you think that? He pulls something from his coat pocket. My flash drive. I swear the world tilts. I found this on your desk last night after you left, he says. You're lucky I didn't hand it to IT security. It's not what it looks like. Really? Because it looks like my new intern is investigating my company. Your company? I snap before I can stop myself. Pretty sure Novatech belongs to its investors. His eyes narrow, sharp as glass. Who are you really, Lena? For a moment the rooftop air feels heavy. Then I force a smile, playing the only card I can. I'm just an intern who likes solving puzzles. Right, he says dryly. And I'm Santa Claus. He takes a step closer, voice low. Whatever you're doing, stop. You're in over your head. And you're underestimating me. We stand there, a breath apart, tension crackling like static. His gaze drops to my lips for a split second, then he blinks, shakes it off and backs away. Fine, he says. Have it your way. But if this blows up, don't say I didn't warn you. He turns and heads for the stairs. I let out a shaky exhale, my pulse thundering in my ears. The second he's gone, I whisper to the sky, well, that was terrifyingly hot. Then my phone buzzes again. Unknown number. You shouldn't trust him either. I stare at the message, goosebumps crawling up my arms. So Vale isn't behind this. But someone knows I'm not who I claim to be. And they're watching. That night I can't sleep. I replay every word, every look, every smirk. Somewhere between the lies and the flirting, lines are blurring. Because the more I get to know Ethan Vale, the less I believe he's my enemy. But if he finds out I'm not just Lena the intern, he might not just fire me. He might hate me. And that's starting to scare me more than getting caught. Morning at Novatech smells like burnt coffee and deadlines. Everyone's in panic mode for tomorrow's demo, which is perfect. Chaos makes good cover. I slip into my seat and open a blank spreadsheet I can hide behind while my real code runs in the background. The little progress bar crawls forward, tracing the money trail I started last night. Rough morning. Mia whispers, passing me a donut. Just trying to look productive, I murmur. You look haunted. Thanks, that's my natural aura. Before she can reply, Mr. Vale appears beside my desk. He doesn't bark orders this time, he looks cautious. Lena, walk with me, he says quietly. Every eye in the office tracks us as we head to a glass meeting room. When the door shuts, the noise outside fades to a hum. He folds his arms. Who's sending you messages? My throat tightens. What? I traced an encrypted ping to your workstation last night. Whoever's threatening you is using our internal network. I blink. He traced it. So you hacked the hacker? I ask. His mouth twitches. You say that like it's impressive. It is. He exhales, softer now. Look, I know you're hiding something. But whoever's behind this leak, they're dangerous. Let me help. For a heartbeat, I almost tell him everything. The inheritance. The investigation. The fake last name. But trust is expensive and I'm already living on credit. I can handle it, I say. He leans forward, eyes steady. You're a terrible liar. Good thing I'm not applying for a job in espionage. His laugh is quick, surprised, genuine, and it hits me right in the chest. Fine, he says, standing. If you won't tell me, at least let me make sure you get home safe. Whoever texted you has access to internal data. You're a target now. I've been a target my whole life, I mutter under my breath. He glances back. What was that? Nothing. Just, thanks, Mr. Vale. He gives me that crooked half-smile that ruins my equilibrium. Call me Ethan. Mr. Vale makes me sound like an 80-year-old with a golf obsession. That evening he insists on walking me out. The city's neon lights bounce off glass towers, painting the street in colors too bright for my mood. Do you ever stop working? I ask. Only when someone interesting distracts me. Flirt. Absolute flirt. We stop by a tiny cafe across the street. He buys 2 cappuccinos and sits opposite me, sleeves still rolled, hair a little messy, looking nothing like the boss who terrified me 2 days ago. So, he says, stirring his coffee. What's your dream, Lena, who definitely isn't a spy? To not inherit an empire I never asked for, I think. Out loud, just to build something of my own. He nods slowly like he understands more than I said. Then we're not so different. The words hang between us, warm and dangerous. Back at my apartment, I plug in my laptop again. The script's final report pops up and my stomach drops. A new transfer logged an hour ago. Same Orion account. But this time the authorization came from Vale. Oh, no. Either someone's framing him, or the man I just started to trust is part of the scheme. My phone buzzes again. Unknown. Told you not to trust him. I stare at the screen, heart pounding. Tomorrow's demo could expose everything. His secrets, mine, and whoever's pulling the strings. And the worst part? I don't know which side Ethan's really on, or which one I am anymore. I don't sleep. Every time I close my eyes I see the words, authorized by Vale. By the time dawn hits, I'm a walking espresso shot. I dress fast, throw my hair into a knot, and head for Novatech with one goal: prove whether Ethan's a thief or a target. Inside the office, everything hums with pre-demo panic. Screens flicker, cables snake across the floor, and someone's arguing about fonts. I slip into my chair and open my encrypted folder. My trace script shows the signature again. Vale's credentials approving $1 million transfer to Orion. Except something doesn't fit. The login originated from a location 2 blocks away, time-stamped while Ethan was with me at the cafe. So he's being framed, I whisper. Relief floods me, followed immediately by dread. Because whoever did this wanted me to see it. Talking to yourself? I jump. Ethan's leaning over the divider, holding a mug that says world's okayest boss. The fact that he can still smile when half his company's on fire is almost impressive. I rehearse my ideas out loud, I say, pretending to scroll through spreadsheets. He lowers his voice. I checked the servers. Someone cloned my access key. It's an inside job. My stomach tightens. Then we find them. He arches a brow. We. Don't pretend you're not relieved I'm on your side, I shoot back. Something flickers behind his eyes. Amusement, maybe trust. Fine. But if HR finds out I'm conspiring with an intern, I'll deny everything. Obviously. We spend the morning shoulder to shoulder at his desk. He types like he's fighting the keyboard. I quietly reroute our trace through dummy servers. Every few minutes he mutters something under his breath. Half code, half curses. Do you always work like this? I ask. Only when someone's sabotaging my company. He glances up. Or when someone interesting insists on helping. That look again. Direct. Dangerous. I focus on the screen. Flattery doesn't compile, Mr. Ethan. Worth a try. Around noon the culprit bites. A new login pings the system. Same fake credentials, same offshore path. Ethan and I exchange a look and launch the trap. Within seconds the feed reveals the source. Victor Hahn, head of finance. Of course it's the guy with the luxury pen collection, I mutter. Ethan exhales. He's presenting at the demo today. If we expose him on stage, it'll clear your name and save the company. He nods. But it'll also cause a scandal. Investors hate drama. Lucky for you, I say, standing. I was born for drama. Hours later, backstage at the demo hall, I hand him the tablet loaded with proof. Upload this when I cue you. He looks at me, really looks. Why do this for me? Because you're not the villain. Because I trust you more than I should. I just shrug. I like winning. He smiles soft this time. Then let's win. When the presentation starts, lights flash, cameras roll, and Victor Hahn steps up to brag about transparent innovation. My cue. I trigger the upload. The projector behind him flickers, then floods the screen with transaction logs and offshore transfers, each stamped with his ID. Gasps ripple through the room. Victor freezes. Ethan steps forward, calm and cold. Transparency indeed, he says. Security just confirmed these transfers originated from your office. It's glorious. Security escorts Victor out. The board murmurs approval. And somewhere in the chaos, Ethan catches my hand, squeezing once. Thank you, stay quiet, both in that single touch. Later, in the empty corridor, he turns to me. You saved my company. Technically, we saved it. He studies me, eyes searching. Who are you really, Lena? I open my mouth, then stop. Not yet. Not until I'm sure the danger's gone. Just your intern, I say lightly. For now. He laughs under his breath, stepping closer. You're impossible. And you love it, I whisper before I can stop myself. His grin could power the building. Maybe I do. The victory tastes sweet. But as we walk back inside, my phone buzzes again. Known. Nice work, Miss Ward. But the game isn't over. I pocket the phone, heart pounding. If the day after saving a company had a smell, it would be burnt coffee, relief, and mild panic. Everyone at Novatech is celebrating the takedown of Victor Hahn. Ethan's in back-to-back calls with investors, Mia's passing out cupcakes shaped like light bulbs, and I'm quietly pretending my phone isn't buzzing every 10 minutes with messages from an anonymous stalker who knows my real name. Unknown. Ward Global will be interested in your little side project. Unknown. Time to come home, princess. My fingers tighten around the phone. Whoever this is, they're not guessing, they know. The confrontation. By lunch I can't sit still. I slip into the stairwell and call my cousin Leo, the only person who knows where I really am. Someone's leaking my identity, I whisper. If the board finds out I've been undercover. Too late, Leo interrupts. There's chatter online. Someone posted that Ward Global's heir is moonlighting at Novatech. My heart drops to my shoes. You're kidding. Do I sound like I'm kidding? Your dad's furious. He wants you out before reporters show up. I sink onto the step, staring at the gray concrete. I can't leave yet. If they trace Orion back to our family's rivals, Novatech is still in danger. Lena. I'll handle it. I hang up before he can argue. The revelation. When I walk back into the office, the air feels different. Quieter, sharper. Ethan's waiting by my desk, a folded newspaper in his hand. My face is on the front page. Ward heiress goes undercover at tech startup. For a second no one moves. Then Mia whispers, "You're rich," and drops her cupcake. I force a laugh that sounds nothing like me. Surprise. Ethan doesn't smile. He just holds out the paper. So this is who you really are. I nod slowly. I wanted to see why Novatech was losing money before my father pulled our funding. I needed to know if it was worth saving. His jaw tightens. And you didn't trust me enough to tell me? How could I? You thought I was an intern who spilled coffee on herself. He looks away, running a hand through his hair. You could have told me after I stopped accusing you of hacking the system. Would you have believed me? He doesn't answer. The silence stretches until it hurts. Finally he exhales. Reporters are coming. You should leave before it turns into a circus. Something in my chest twist. Is that an order, Mr. Vale? It's a warning. Twist. I grab my bag ready to walk out when an alarm blares through the office. Screens flash red. Unauthorized data breach detected. Ethan spins toward the monitors. They're back. Orion's servers are hitting us again. Then let me help. He hesitates. You're not my intern anymore. Maybe not, I say, sliding into the chair beside him, fingers flying over the keyboard. But I'm still the woman who saved your company once. Let's make it twice. For a heartbeat we lock eyes, everything unsaid hanging there between us. Then we dive into code. Lines scroll, warnings beep, and when the breach finally stops, the office erupts in cheers. Ethan leans back exhausted. You really don't know when to quit. Comes with the family name, I say, grinning despite everything. The building empties. Reporters swarm outside. I can see flashbulbs through the glass. Ethan walks me to the elevator. So what happens now, Miss Ward? I have to face my father, explain why I went rogue, maybe convince him to keep investing in you. He nods slowly. And us. I blink. Us. He shrugs, half smiling. Rich girl, stubborn CEO, small matter of lies and corporate espionage. Seems like the start of a terrible idea. Terrible ideas are my specialty. The elevator dings. I step in, heart pounding. See you soon, Ethan. Count on it, Lena. As the doors close, my phone buzzes again. Unknown. Nice show. Next round's on a bigger stage. I glance at the reflection of my own smirk in the elevator mirror. Fine. Let them come. The intern is gone. The heiress just clocked in. The first thing I hear when I step into Ward Global's headquarters is my father's voice. Lena Margaret Ward, I sent you on a sabbatical, not a spy mission. Home sweet hostile takeover. The conference room gleams. Marble table, skyline view, half a dozen board members pretending not to gawk at the disgraced heiress. I drop my bag onto the polished floor and meet my father's glare. Good morning to you too, Dad. He slams a newspaper down. My face again. Great lighting at least. You embarrassed this family, he snaps. You went undercover in a startup like some reality show contestant. Actually, I exposed corporate theft and saved one of our best investments, I say. You're welcome. That earns a few nervous coughs from the board. Dad pinches the bridge of his nose. The press thinks it was a publicity stunt. Investors want reassurance. You'll issue a statement, something humble, and step away from Novatech. No. The word drops like a stone. Every eye turns to me. Novatech still has potential, I continue. Victor Hahn was working with Orion and they're not done. If we pull funding now, Orion wins. My father's jaw tightens. You are not in charge here, young lady. Then fire me, I say quietly. But I'm not abandoning them. Before he can respond, the glass doors swing open. Enter Ethan Vale. He shouldn't look this calm. Dark suit, crooked tie, faint smirk that says yes, I just crashed the richest board in the city. Mr. Vale, my father says flatly, this is a private meeting. Then consider me an uninvited truth bomb, Ethan replies. He sets a folder on the table. Here's proof Orion has been manipulating Ward Global's suppliers for months. Novatech's data breach was the bait. They wanted both our companies compromised. The room erupts in murmurs. He turns to me. Your daughter figured it out first, he tells my father. If she hadn't gone undercover, we'd all be bleeding money right now. My father studies him, then me. And you expect me to believe this wasn't coordinated? Ethan's gaze doesn't waver. Believe whatever you want, sir. But your daughter's instincts saved us both. For a second's silence. Then one of the older directors clears his throat. If this report is accurate, we should reinforce our partnership with Novatech. Another nods. Agreed. Miss Ward's initiative prevented a disaster. My father exhales through his nose, half pride, half surrender. Fine. You'll both present a joint recovery plan at the shareholders' summit next week. Joint. As in together. After the meeting. When the board files out, Dad pauses beside me. You're reckless, he mutters, softer now. But you might just be right. I smile. Told you. He almost smiles back before leaving us alone. Ethan leans against the table, that infuriatingly calm expression back in place. Well, partner, we survived another crisis. Partner. I arch a brow. Unless you'd prefer boss. Tempting. He grins. You handled them better than I expected. Years of practice, I say. Family dinners double as strategy sessions. He steps closer. So, Miss Ward, do you ever stop fighting? Only when I'm winning. Good, he says, voice low. Because I like a challenge. For one dizzy heartbeat, the world narrows to the space between us. Boardroom, skyline, everything fading. Then he steps back, clearing his throat. Summit's in 7 days, he says briskly. We should prepare our presentation. I smirk. I'll bring the data. You bring the charm. Deal. Epilogue of the day. That night I sit by my window overlooking the city. My phone buzzes with a new message, this time not from unknown. Ethan. Still can't believe the heiress who pretended to be an intern saved my company. Me. Still can't believe the CEO who thought I was trouble was right. Ethan. Dinner tomorrow? We can discuss strategy. Me, business strategy? Ethan. Sure. I laugh out loud. Maybe the mask's off, but the game's just getting interesting. The heiress and the rival CEO, partners now, maybe something more. And for the first time, the future feels like mine to design. The Ward Global Shareholder Summit looks exactly like I imagined it. Too many suits, too much champagne, and a stage big enough to land a helicopter on. Ethan and I stand behind the curtain waiting for our cue. He's flawless in charcoal gray, calm in that infuriating, I control markets and emotions way. I meanwhile am trying to breathe around a dress that costs more than my car. You look nervous, he murmurs. I look responsible, I correct. It's just a rare expression for me. He laughs quietly. After this you'll be a legend. Heiress plus hacktivist equals shareholder catnip. Stop flirting before I hack your presentation. The sabotage. The lights dim. We step on stage to polite applause. The screens behind us flash to life. Our joint slides glossy and perfect. Ethan starts, voice steady. Novatech and Ward Global share a vision. Innovation built on integrity. And then the slides glitch. Numbers flicker, images distort. Suddenly the projector floods with red text. Orion owns you. Gasps ripple through the room. The feed cuts to a live data stream, transactions flooding toward an offshore account. My blood goes cold. They're hijacking our servers again during the summit. Ethan turns to me, eyes wide but steady. You have your laptop? Always. We duck behind the podium as the room erupts in confusion. I tether to the network, fingers flying. Ethan kneels beside me, shielding the screen from the crowd. They're rerouting through Ward Global's servers. I hiss. If we don't stop it, they'll drain the joint fund. Tell me what to do. Buy me 30 seconds. He stands, grabs the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain calm. Minor technical issue. Our system's simply too advanced for the Wi-Fi. A few nervous laughs. He glances down at me, eyes asking how's it going? I mouth almost. The code scrolls faster. One mistyped command and I'll lock the wrong firewall. Then the last line executes and the screen behind us freezes. The red text blinks, then fades. I exhale shakily. We're clear. Ethan grins, grabs my hand and pulls me up beside him. Apologies for the interruption, he tells the crowd. As you can see, our security works under pressure. The room bursts into applause. After the show, when the summit ends, reporters swarm, shareholders cheer, and I sneak out to the terrace for air. City lights glitter below like data points. My hands are still trembling. Ethan joins me, 2 glasses of champagne in hand. He offers one. To crisis management. Pretty sure that deserves hazard pay. He tilts his head. You were brilliant. Team effort. He steps closer, the night wind catching his hair. You realize if we keep saving each other, people will talk. Let them. We stand in silence for a beat. Then he says softly, when I thought the system was gone, I wasn't worried about the company. I was worried about you. The words hit harder than they should. I thought you didn't mix business and personal. I manage. I'm reconsidering my policies. He smiles. Small, uncertain, nothing like the polished CEO I met weeks ago, and something in me gives way. I take a step closer. Good. Because I'm tired of pretending this is just business. The city hums below us. He brushes a strand of hair from my face, fingers trembling just enough to make my heart race. Then stop pretending, he whispers. So I do. The kiss is quick, unexpected, perfect. When we pull back, we're both laughing, half shock, half relief. Inside, I can still hear the applause and chatter, but out here it's just us. The heir who played poor and the rival who never saw her coming. Tao what? I ask. Ethan grins. Now we build something real. No masks. I clink my glass against his. Deal. Somewhere in my bag, my phone buzzes with one last anonymous text. Congratulations, Miss Ward. Round 1 goes to you. I slip it back without looking. For tonight, I don't care. Because for the first time, the war's not what defines me. The choice does. And I'm choosing us. It started with spilled coffee. Not exactly cinematic. Unless you count the slow-motion way it splashed across my presentation notes, my suit, and the keyboard that cost more than her monthly rent. At least that's what I thought back then. She stammered out an apology, cheeks flushed, hair half escaped from its bun, eyes too sharp for an intern. I should have known. No one that clumsy has posture that proud. But I didn't see it yet. Back then, Lena Ward was just Lena the intern. Brilliant, opinionated, maddening. She challenged every plan, questioned every number, and smiled like she was 3 steps ahead of me. I was supposed to fire her. Instead, I kept finding excuses to keep her around. The moment everything changed. The night of the first breach, when Victor Hahn's scheme blew up, I watched her handle the crisis like she'd done it 100 times before. Calm. Fierce. Elegant in the chaos. Afterward, she smiled at me like she was daring me to underestimate her again. And I realized I was in trouble. Because I didn't want her gone anymore. I wanted to know who she really was. When the mask fell. When that article broke, Ward heiress goes undercover, I should have been furious. I was for about 5 seconds. Then I saw her expression in that boardroom. Defiant, proud, scared in a way she'd never admit. And I thought, there she is. The real Lena. Everyone else saw scandal. I saw the woman who outsmarted Orion, saved my company, and still had the guts to argue about coffee budgets. That's when I stopped pretending it was just business. Well, 3 months later, she's technically my partner, unofficially my chaos generator, and somehow the only person who makes 2 a.m. debugging sessions feel like date nights. She walks into every room like she owns it, probably because she does, and still insists on bringing me burnt lattes for authenticity. Sometimes I'll catch her on the rooftop, staring at the skyline like she's calculating her next empire. I'll join her, say something stupid, and she'll roll her eyes, but she'll lean on my shoulder anyway. That's when I realize I don't need perfect plans anymore. I just need us. The secret truth. Everyone calls her the heir who played poor. They should call her the woman who taught me how to fight fair. She made me believe in building something for the right reasons again. Something earned, not inherited. And if the world decides to come for us again, if Orion rises, if another boardroom war begins, well, I know one thing for sure. She'll walk in wearing a blazer like armor, grin like she's already won, and say, "Ready to play, partner?" And I'll always say yes. Because I fell for her the moment she ruined my suit. And I've been happily losing ever since. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more original novel stories. And stay tuned, our next story is coming soon.